Good day, everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to use Belugar. Now, Belugar is an all-in-one business suite for seamless operations. Basically put, it's a platform that helps you keep tracks of your business sales and expenses and helps you get insight on your monthly financial status with ease. It also helps you sell more and create more awareness using the Belugar marketing service. Okay, so once you've signed in to the platform, the very first page you see is the dashboard. And if you scroll down, you can see there is no analytics or accounting going on here. Yes, because we've not added in any data yet. So, very first step we'll take is to create a business. And we'll call it John's Tech Store. Let's say the store will be for things like let's say the store will be for things like phones and gadgets. And then we can decide on a base business default currency. And also note, when you are picking this default currency, whatever currency you pick is what you continue to use throughout for that particular business. And the currency was available are Nigerian Naira and Ghanaian cedis. So for this business, we'll be using Nigerian Naira. And you create a business. And then the very first thing you see is this prompt to enable apps. It says you need to enable the app and its features. You listed the apps and its features. If you're not the company owner, please ignore this or contact the admin. I'll explain why it gave that last part. This, please ignore this if you're not the company owner. I'll explain that as we go on. So first you do is click enable apps now, and then we'll decide, okay, what are the apps we'll be needed for this business? Now, of course, we need to keep track of sales and expenses and other records, so we'll be needing the accounting. And then for inventory, since it's a gadget store, it means products will come in, and we also need to keep track of products that are in stock and products that are out of stock, so we can restock and all that. So we'll enable inventory. Next is file management. Are there any files that are relating to your business that you need to upload as well? If you don't have, you can currently leave it disabled. For this, we won't be needing any of that. So those are the apps we'll be enabling. Now to see the full information over at this sidebar, you can click this icon. And then you can see here we have the dashboard, the accounting, another account, we have the overview, sales, expenses, payroll, debts. We'll be going through each of these, and then in inventory, we can see we have overview, stock management. Then the last ones are customer team management. Under team management, we have roles and permissions and teams. Then the pricing plans and settings. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to fund our wallet so we can actually subscribe to a subscription package. So to fund your wallet, you hit the fund wallet button, or you can also go here to access the button. And for this video, we'll be funding our wallet with 2,000 Naira and click fund. And the payment gateway opens. We'll be using the pay stack option. Now there are various methods with which you can fund your wallet. You can either use your ATM card, your debit or credit card, or a transfer, or you can also use USSD or Visa QR or OP, whereby you connect your OP account. But for this video, we'll be using a transfer. So you click on transfer and you make a transfer to the account details currently provided. And once you've made the transfer, it will automatically refresh and show your transfer is on the way. You can take a few minutes, and like that, we've successfully funded our wallets. So if you head over here, you can see you've funded our wallet with 2,000 naira. And it shows we are currently on the free plan, which is about to change. So we head over to pricing plans. Now, these are the different subscription packages currently available on Belugar. We have the 2,000 naira per month plan, we have the 100,000 yearly plan, and we also have the 1 million naira 4 years plan. Also know that this business elite plan for 1 million naira also comes with a free barcode scanner with which you can easily make sales, especially in a shopping mall or in whatever business you are currently running. And I'll advise you to go for this plan. It helps you know that for 4 years everything is just done. You won't have to worry about resubscribing and other things. So for this video, we'll be subscribing to the 2,000 naira monthly plan, and you click subscribe to plan. It asks you, are you sure you want to subscribe to this plan? And yes, and it shows you are currently subscribed to the 2,000 naira monthly plan, and then we can head over to the dashboard to start. We are back to the dashboard, and if you scroll down, you can see there is no record or anything. That's because we've not made any sale, we've not added any products yet. So let's go through each of these sections one by one. Now let's start with the accounting overview. Here you can see your total earnings, and here is your loss and your net earnings. And of course, your net earnings is the difference between your total earnings and your loss. So if your net earnings is low, you already know that you are spending a lot, that you are having a high loss and all that. And then you can see payment method stats, whereby I can have a total amount of how much has been paid in cash or card or POS or bank transfer, and I'll show you how you get the data for all this. And we'll start with adding a product. Of course, it's going to keep track of your sales, but you can't make a sale when you don't currently have a product in stock. So we need to stock in some products. Now let's add a product. Now this is a stock management menu, and the very first thing we'll do is to click add products. Now what are the products we have in stock? In this video we're using a text store. So let's say we have an Apple MacBook Pro 2020. Saying that on the M1 trim. I'll put that description. M1 chip. Can also add that in the description and others. And like I said, if notice, you can't click to use any other currency because this is the currency we'll be using throughout the business. So let's say we purchased the laptop for a total of 900,000, and we'll be selling it for 1 million naira. 1 million naira. That's good. And let's say just recently purchased it, so we have about like 10 in stock. Now these are the basic informations, and then you can also add an image. So when the customer is making purchase, you see the image of the product. We have an image here. This is the image of the laptop you are currently selling. In most cases, most sellers will snap the product itself and upload. Now these are the basic information you need when adding any product, but you can also add additional information when adding a new product, like a barcode. There's a tutorial on how to use this on the dashboard of Belugar, whereby it helps with ease when making sales, so you won't have to go through the manual process and all that. So there's a separate video for this. Now below here we have additional info, which is optional. Now when you click add, you can see there's a field key and there's a field value. Now what is the field key? Field key is, in this case, can be something that describes the product, like the size, the color, the chip, what kind of processor does it use, and all that. So in this case, we'll add a few like color, and let's say the color will be black. I'm not really sure what the code color. You can also add more by clicking this add button here, and let's say the size is let's say the size is about 13 inch or 14, I think usually 14 and 16 inches. And then once you added all these details, we can click create. And just like that, you've successfully created a product that is currently in stock. So you can see over here, we have the product image, which is the image we added, the product name, the cost price. Over here, you can still see is 900,000 naira, and here is a million naira. Quantity 10. Of course, as you sell a product, maybe a customer purchases two or more, you also note that the quantity reduces, and once it's out of stock, it will tell you that it is out of stock. So this is the date created, and this is the date was last updated. So over here, you see this icon here with this extra options under action here. These are the extra options we have. So first, we'll be starting with edits. Now, edit lets you make changes to the product you created. Let's say the product wasn't actually a MacBook Pro 2020, it was just 2021. You can also come here and change it. And then once it hits submit, it changes and it updates. And you can also, there's also the view products, where it shows you the product's details and its extra information that specifies the product. Here you can see the color is black, the size is 14 inches. If you have a similar product to this, what will distinguish them is this additional info. So you can see where it comes in, and then you can see the stock history. Currently, we've not stocked in, stocked out, and all that yet. So there's currently no history at the point. And then we have transfer products. Now, this is if you are transferring a product from one of your business to your other business, especially in a case where a user has multiple businesses and he wants to transfer products and also keep records of the transfer of the product from one business to another. And it also affects the one you have in stock in this business currently. So now let's add in some extra products. Let's say we have an ITEL power bank. Also, an ITEL power bank. The name description is ITEL power bank. And let's say we purchased it for about 12,500, and we'll be selling for a total of 15,000. And we purchased it in box, which will be about 30. And then in optional field, we can also add this additional info, color of the power bank, specify just especially in the case where we have multiple kinds of these power banks. I say power field value black. Then you can also add another one, something like capacity. And then you can specify, okay, is it 20,000 mAh power bank or a 10,000 mAh power bank. Then this is how it goes, and you click create. And just like that, we've added another product in stock. Let's also add another one. Is a gadget store. So the more items we add, the better the example. Let's call this a gaming mouse. On description, let's say I think that is a Razer logo on it. Let's say Razer gaming mouse. This kind of mouse is really quite expensive. Let's say 12,000, and we'll be selling it for 16,000, and we purchased 20. Additional info. lights or and lights. You can say the light is LED lights. Just something to specify. Color. Let's say we purchase two. So we can say or two different kinds or ones with two different colors. You can say black slash white. And then click create. Also note that if maybe you made any changes and it seems like it hasn't reflected, you can also hit this refresh button and it will refresh the page automatically. Now, there's also another way to import your products. Now, let's say you want to build this data somewhere else, maybe in an Excel format. You can easily hit the export product and whatever format is best for you, you can use it. We have the Excel format and we have the CSV, whatever one you pick, whatever you think is best for you, like can easily access to your choice. So in this case, we can easily export the Excel format. And as you can see, we already have a database of the products we just added. You can see we have the Apple MacBook Pro 2021. You can see the price it costs, the business, the price we were selling for, quantity in stock, and the status whether it's in stock. We can see that we don't have any barcode information here because we didn't add the barcode. And then we can see the date it was created and can also see the additional information whereby we have the field key and the field value, which is listed as key here and value here. Those key and those value. So whatever format you pick that is best for you, you can use it. So now let's say we already have a database containing all our products and we would like to import it instead of adding everything manually. You can also hit the import button and click to upload the file and just like that, you can see we've added in automatically our new products and then you can also decide, okay, I have images of this product. I can decide to manually add it in myself with the product description and all that. That is your choice. So you go over to inventory overview. You can see that the total inventory value, like the value of all our stocks currently, we have 20 or 10 MacBooks and we have 10 Alienwares according to the stock, according to the inventory and stock management. And how many stocks, like the list, we have an Alienware, we have a MacBook, we have an ITO power bank and a Rimo power bank, a HP gaming mouse, a Razer gaming mouse. That makes it a total of 6. We've not had any stock transaction yet, so it's still at 0. So now let's make a sale. We head over to sales in accounting and this is the sales. So here we click add sale. Now you can see we have the sales details and of course the currency is still in Nigerian naira. Now once you click search a product, you can only in this drop down you can only select products that are currently in stock. Can't select products that you don't currently have in stock, and also products that are out of stock can't be selected. Here you can only select products that the status in inventory is showing in stock. So now let's say customer wants to purchase a HP gaming mouse. And how much is he going to purchase? 2. And if you still want to purchase more items, you can also click add products. And also note that once you've selected the product, you can't select it again. What to do is just increase the amount of the one you've already selected before. So let's say you also want to get an Alienware. Let's say 2 and a an ITEL power bank. One. So that sums up to 1.8 million naira or 1,863,000 naira. And now, in this video, I want to create a debt, meaning the customer won't pay in full. So I will pay kind of part payment, let's say 1.703 million. And you gave him a discount of 20,000. So let's say he paid, because of course it's not expected for someone to carry that kind of amount in cash. So let's say they pay via bank transfer and default customer. Now, this info here, this customer details, you can decide to leave it as a default customer by choice if you want. However, in a case where someone isn't paying completely or isn't making payment fully, it's best advisable to create or add a customer whereby you can also keep track of how much he is owing. The default customer option is so you won't have to always create a customer anytime someone wants to purchase items. It's only stressful, and especially in a case whereby there's a long queue, you can't always be creating customers. So you can also leave it as default customer. However, if it's in a case whereby customer is paying half of the total payment, it's best advisable you create a customer. So how you do that is by clicking on add customer, by clicking the add customer, and then you type in the name. Let's say his name is Gabriel David. And his email address is gabdave43443 at yahoo.com. agbdave at whatever it is, but it's best advice where you get the actual email address. And in this kind of case, it's best you do it with someone who you can easily hold in case he delays, and then click create. Now, once you head back over here and you click, just like the add products, you can see a list of the customers you have. And in this case, we'll select Gabriel David. And also, there's the show optional fields. Now, this is the case whereby the customer is owing, so you may need to set a due date as to when he will pay, let's say 8. And then add additional info as to the products. Let's say you can just same thing we did in when adding a product. Let's say the color of laptop, and then the actual value black. Just a way of adding an additional information to easily recognize this particular sale, and then you click create, and then you can see the customer's name here, the product he purchased, the total amount he was supposed to pay. And then we can see we gave him a discount of 20,000 naira, which means his debt is now 100,000 naira because he paid 1.743 million. Now this was the date it was issued, and this is the date it is due. Now over here we can still see we have some of the same, or in some cases similar options as we had in inventory. Here we can also edit purchase, just in case there's a product he didn't actually want to purchase, something like this. We can remove it and submit, and it will automatically update, and you can see his debt has reduced and the total amount has also reduced. And you can also view the sale, whereby you can see the total sale, the total amount, and all that. You can also see the additional info, and here we can send the invoice to the customer, especially in the case whereby they want the invoice to send someone else, or whereby it's an organization purchasing from your own organization. This is very common handy in some cases, and you can also print the invoice, especially for those working in shopping malls and all that. Now, when printing the invoice, it's best to keep it at this size, especially because of the paper size. The paper size is usually small. But if you want to make adjustments to it, you can easily drag this size just to a size that can easily fit into your paper you're using to print the invoice. And likewise, like an inventory, you can also export sales to an Excel or CSV format, or you can manually import it, especially if you have sales record that's where relating to your business that you've not been able to add, but is relevant to your business. You also want to keep track of it, you can also add it. And now, once we head back to the accounting overview, if you notice, you can still see that it's still in 000. So you might have to just click this fresh button over here. It's on all the pages. And you can see you've made a total of one sale without any expense at all currently. And this is our net earnings. You can see net earnings is the difference between the total earnings and our loss. And our loss is the 20,000 we gave as discount. Now, if you notice, it didn't add the debt as a loss because its debt is assumed to be money that you will get back. So you can't count it as a loss yet. And you can see this payment was made via bank transfer. This is the total amount made via bank transfer. We have 0 for POS, 0 for card. As you make purchases and you select the payment options, it automatically updates here. So once we come down to this monthly statement, you can see in April, we made a total sale of 1.8 million naira, and these are net revenue. We've not had any expense yet, like I said, so we'll get to that part. And you can also export these reports in a PDF format. You can also print it out, whatever method suits you. And likewise, in like same thing we did for printing the invoice, you can also adjust it to a size that fits your paper, especially if it has a large amount of data. You might want to increase the size, something I can easily read from a paper. By next year, when your business runs into the next year, once you click on this side, you will get a little drop down that lets you view the record of the previous year and the current year. This is the year we just raised into, there is no drop down here yet. And now the next one we'll look at is expenses. Now, the menus are always really similar. Keep it simple. And the easiest way to do it, you only see the add button almost every single page, where I can easily add an expense. Now, let's say in a month, for this month, we spent extra 45,000 to pay your worker, let's say salary. Yeah. Okay. And description salary. And now, if you come over here, you can see select a member, which means you are expected to have team members in the business, especially if it's in a case whereby it's a shopping mall. One account can't like be linked to all the systems because that main account has access to everything. So you are expected to have team members and they're meant to have roles and permissions. It's one of the pages I showed, and I'll explain how you can do that. So here we don't currently have a member. So if you don't have a member that is currently on the platform, you can just input his name manually. Let's say Rachel is the girl staying in the shop. And likewise, we also have optional fields here. But here you can also choose to add the payees or the team members information, like the email address, which is also optional. And here you can also add little details to specify or to further describe the particular expense. And of course, if someone looks at this person, see, oh, it's a monthly salary, which means it can only be done monthly, not daily or by each purchase or something like that. So, and that's done, and click create. Now, if you also head back to our accounting overview, you can see now that we made a total of one expense and a loss. Now, this treats it as a loss because it's actually going out of your business and it's not rewarding it in an actual, it's not rewarding the business an actual value of cash. Like in economics, they will tell you about things like implicit and explicit costs, opportunity, and all that. They all count as costs, but in accounting, we don't count that. So his efforts not counted as profits. So paying him is seen as a loss when taking records. I hope that explains it enough. Now, next one we'll be dealing with is debts. Like when you here in this case, you can see that Gabriel David is owing the business at 5,000 naira, and this date was issued on the 4th of April. Here we can also edit. If you notice, we can't edit anything here. Why is that? Because we didn't add the dates in this page. Like I said, in almost every page we have to add, whereby you can add, let's say a customer comes to purchase something and he's not going to pay at that moment. I mean, it's usually done like among tech gadget store owners, they commonly did among themselves, especially if they have a customer in the shop and he doesn't have the particular equipment in his own store. He can decide to take from his neighbor's store, and then once the customer makes payment, he will pay the customer. But let's say it's an item worth 15 or 16,000. I think 15 we do. And status, of course, it hasn't been paid, and the customer still happens to be Gabriel David. And then we click create. Now we see that Gabriel David has a total of 2 debts, but both have not been paid. But with this, if he decides to say, oh, you know what, okay, the customer made the purchase, how can I pay you money now? And then we change the information to paid, and you can see he has paid his debts. And then you can see that he has paid his debts completely. Now, for these other debts, this is how you deal with it, especially in a case whereby the debt was something that happened at the point of sale. You head over to sales, and then you edit the sale. Let's say he paid, you actually add the money he paid and the money he's paying currently together, and that will be the same as our total amounts. And you hit submit. Now, if you notice, the debt has cleared, and if you head over to the debt section, you can see that it has updated and his debt has now been paid. So that's how you deal with debts. You have to know where the debt was added. If it's a debt that was made at sale, you will have to head back to the sale to edit to remove that particular debt. That's one of the functions of the edit button is there. Now, you can also decide to add in customers manually. Here you can add the customer, add his name, especially if it's a customer that will frequent your store. And here you can also view his sales and his debts. Let's view Gabriel David's sales. You can see that he's made only one purchase and total amount was 1.828 million naira, and the total product quantity purchased was 5. That is 3 mouse, and I think 3 mouse or 3 power bands and 2 Alienwares. Yeah, 3 HP gaming mouse and 2 Alienwares. And you can see the amount he paid, the discount he was given, the date was issued, and the due dates. Just well, supposedly for the now. Let us view his dates. You can see that he's owed twice, and For both of those cases, he has paid back. As you can see here, the status has changed paid, from not paid to paid. Same as from not paid to paid. And now, if we head back to stock management, like I said before, you can notice that the amount or the quantity in stock for some of the products has actually reduced. Let's say a customer comes to purchase the remaining Alienwares as at the sale, the Alienware, and he purchases the remaining 9. Let's give it the random finger that is not currently in stock. Let's say 20. If you try to create it, you can see that the available amount is 8 and requested amount is 20. So let's say he purchases the remaining 8 and he paid in full 7.2 million naira. Sorry. And let's say he was given a discount. Let's give me a discount for this because I can't pay that kind of amount and not get a discount. Let's say he was given a discount of 200,000. And of course, payment like that can, let's say, via POS or a card, and his name is, let's call him James. Doesn't have an email, you leave it like that. It's optional actually. Then we click create. Now, of course, this also updates our accounting records. However, if you go to stock management, you can see that this product is currently out of stock. You choose this red one here. Whereby, if you also want to restock it, you can edit the product and you can change the quantity from 0 to, let's say, just purchase 10 more and you hit submit. Now, if you go back to the inventory, you can see that the quantity was updated to 10 and is currently in stock. And it's currently in stock. Now, if he hits stock history, you can see, oh, when we first purchased it, we purchased about 8 or 10. Yeah, we stocked in 10 and we stocked at 8 and went out of stock and all that. This shows just a basic of how everything went. Okay, you stocked in, stock balance is 10, you stocked in 10, you stocked out 8 first, then you stocked out 2 and you stocked in again. Okay. And another way whereby we can also stock in our products, like say in a case whereby some of your products got damaged and you need to take them out of what you currently have in stock. Especially maybe you have maybe a set of phones and some of them the screen got damaged and as a result of that you couldn't sell it again. If you want to add changes to your stock history, you can come over here and click on add history and then we'll stock out 10 and click create. Now as you see, we've made changes to our stock history and you can see here you stocked out 10, which means that 10 of the products were not sold because it won't show that it was sold. It showed that 10 of those products left the business. And then once you go back to inventory, you can see now that it's currently out of stock because those were the last 10 that we stocked out of history. Now, if it's in a shopping mall, you can give a rule of whereby they can only sell, they can only add sales, they can't delete, they can't update, so that they won't be able to slide and steal money out of the business, especially if you are someone that is very, very cautious. Let's call this sales manager role and description sales manager at the point of sale. Now, what will his role be? Of course, he has no business with inventory because he's not the one to determine the products in stock and the products that are out of stock and all that. So what will he be able to do? He'll be able to read and create accounting information. Create in the sense that you can create an expense, create a debt, create sale, and you can only read the information. You can't update anything as already created. So you create that role, and we see it over here as a sales manager. Now let's add in another role. Let's call it uh, a manager. Now this will be the general manager role. Now, of course, we also need to access the inventory, which gives him an access to read, create, and update information relating to inventory, but not to delete. So once we've done that, we hit create. And now we head over to Teams. Of course, we need to add people in this. So we can click the add user. Now, you will need the team member's email address because you'll be given a special login details with which you'll be using to log into the platform. And that way you won't have access to things you don't want him to have access to, whether it's to update or delete accounting or inventory information and so on like that. So for this, let's say we have this email address. Let's call it hello at gmail.com. Let's say that is his email address and it will be the sales manager, and then you hit create, and just like that you successfully added a team member to your business. So if you head over here and you view the sales manager role, you can see the users that are currently under the sales manager role. And now we head over to settings. Now in settings here you can view your profile, your full name shows in your profile, and then your business info. Now, if you have multiple businesses, you can decide to delete one that's not currently running at the moment, and also you can also view your transaction history, which shows your history of transactions to your profile wallet or to your profile account. Whether it's funding the wallets, subscribing to a particular plan, here you can see it all. Okay, the next feature we're going to be talking about is the go offline feature. Now, this feature lets you make changes to your business even while you're offline. Let's say we have a scenario where in a shopping mall, the network suddenly disconnects and you have a long queue of customers and you can't tell them to wait because they're trying to get the network back online and all that. Now, with this feature, even while you're still disconnected, you can still make changes and you can still perform sales and add items or products to your inventory. So for this, I'm going to be turning off my Wi-Fi to demonstrate. As you can see, I'm no longer connected to the internet and Chase internet connection is lost. So you head over to go offline and you activate it. And now you can still perform a sale, customer buying an Rimo power bank, paid 15,000, payment method cash. Can add in maybe a customer's name, John. Can click create. Then you can select default customer. Click create. And just like that, we've performed this. As you can see, a default customer bought an Oraimo power bank for 15,000 naira. And this was the date it was issued. This date was issued. So now, let's say after the end of all our sales and all that, we want to back it up so it will be saved. So once we refresh, whether we close the app and all that, the data will still be there. So we can just come online, connect back to the internet, and then you can click go online. As you can see, it says you are back online. And then you can see the total amount of changes you've made here. Then you can sync all offline changes and you are good to go.